Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I know a lot of you guys are anxious to get over to the rail yard and get started, but get your coffee and donuts and get sat down. Let's get this thing started. When you belong to an organization, they're going to have meetings every once in a while, and that's what this is, almost like a monthly meeting where you all get together and you get started. So just endure this with me. First topic gets the hair on the back of my neck up a little bit, but let's just go ahead and deal with it. A lot of things going on in our nation, and if it can't be solved in the courts, and if it can't be solved in the legislature, and if it can't be solved in the Senate, then we're not going to solve it here. So my new rule is we're just not going to talk about it. See what I mean? If we can't solve it and we all see it differently, then we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to take time when we're supposed to be here working to get underneath each other's skin on that. If you want to go to Waffle House at night and argue about it till midnight, I guess that's on your own time, and you're wasting your time, not our time. So that's the way that'll have to be. Okay, next topic, safety. I see you guys rolling your eyes and whatever. Anyway, safety. Slips, trips, and falls. Most common category of injury doing what we're doing, slips, trips, and falls, and yet one of the easiest to solve. It's as simple as look where you're stepping and know what you're walking on. So a slip is when you go to try and pull something, a branch, a tie, a tool, and you're on something slippery. We've got a lot of the small stumps out there. Watch where you're going, watch what you're walking on. The ends of these ties, we noticed the other day, are slippery because they were covered with leaves and now they've got some organic life on them and they're very slippery. So today, while we're out there, we're going to watch where we walk, what we're pulling on, where you get your traction, and anything that could be a possible trip hazard. Next is the overall plan. We've talked about the overall plan a couple times: brush removal, drainage, ballast. Right now it's still drainage. We've done this diagram. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see a diagram. Don't necessarily have feet in here. Maybe this afternoon we'll go ahead and get this dimension so we can write it on there for you. This is where the water comes onto the property. This is what we were jokingly calling the water level route. By the way, here's north. North. This water should be going out this culvert, which goes under the rail, over to here, and then continues north. Now, when Graham and I talked about being a science project, not a construction project, we dug this little channel right here with the cat excavator. We would dig into that mud and you could not shake it out of the bucket. It was that sticky and goopy. We almost just had to just keep pulling, but we proved that water from here would gladly flow through this little channel and north up like this. We got the pretty good flow going. The video where I said I was down in a ditch and I couldn't say mahogany, I was standing right here, right about at that culvert, and the water will flow. So here's our next project. In fact, it's what we're doing, going to do today. First, let me go with the reason this is getting critical is because the springtime floods. Here in about 3 months, there's going to be a lot of water coming onto the property, and we really need it to flow north. When this fills up, then it flows over these rails, and that's not good at all. The other is that right now the ground is semi-frozen. What we're looking for is ground that we can get the cat on, the cat excavator, without getting stuck and sinking down in, but firm enough that we can dig it. So we need to be able to get on it, but if it's completely frozen, that cat's out of the program. The joke about a mini excavator is it's too small for the big jobs, and it's too big for the really little jobs. It's just right there in the middle. So we've got to time this right. The plan of the day, meaning today, what we're going to do, can orange paint. You're going to be with us on this, by the way. You guys that are chomping, finish your donuts. We'll get going here. We're going to cut some trees from right here. These green circles represent trees. We're going to cut some of these trees down. And as it is, we'll probably end up using the battery saw, which is reliable. That's one thing you got to say about it. It is reliable. The poolin, the gas 2-cycle poolin, won't run again. which I do not think Poulin's necessarily made for what we're doing. I think it's more of a homeowner saw. But we're going to take this orange paint and paint on the ground where we're going to try and divert this water. So anticipate there being, it might have a little bit more curve than that. But then what we're going to try and do is go in there with the mini excavator. That'll be tomorrow. We'll have you along on that. We've got the cat excavator on the back of the grapple truck. So tomorrow we're going to set the tripod up. We're going to lift that off. We have an exciting piece of equipment coming tomorrow that you're going to want to see as well. So then we're going to take sheets of plywood, because this is just too soft. We're going to have to use those sheets of plywood almost like a dragline mat to get over here. And I got thinking about it. We'll stack the plywood like this so that when you're digging, you can take the top plywood off and pile dirt here. Work your way along, take this plywood off and put the dirt here. We'll try and demo how that's going to work. But we are going to try and dig this trench out of the middle, this area right here, without cutting this end open or this end open until we're ready. This may be a complete fail because that ground is so wet. Water is going to be seeping in, but what we want to do is get this middle section ready, probably then cut this out. Water is going to race up in there. Then we'll try and crawl up in here and get this taken out. That is going to be quite a bit of work, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to give it our best shot. We will have the plywood on the truck, the cat on the truck, high rail back up through here. We're tired of driving the cat down the line. It's a long ride. You have trouble getting over the rails, etc. Now, I don't think I pointed out where this water goes is this big culvert. It's probably, you think it's 36-inch diameter? Maybe 30, if they make them in 30. This is clean and it flows well. Just the goal could be erasing. The goal is going to be to get this to stop. So we're going to move dirt and riprap in here. Then this water hopefully will have the northern flow to keep moving. This will be a lot more water, but it'll go like that. That's the plan. That's what we're going to work on. Okay, so I also wanted, while I've got you all together here, wanted to talk to you about the future. I'm really excited to tell you that our 10,000 subscriber video, what Graham and I are going to do is answer lots of the questions that you've asked. I'm not going to tell you if I sleep on my side or my stomach. That's just weird. But we're going to answer a lot of the questions you've asked. So look forward to that coming up. Another one, we are going to have a lucky subscriber tour. We are going to have one of you guys here give you the complete tour, walk up and down the tracks, show you everything from end to end. Once I get talking, you might hear numbers and answers and all kind of things you've been wondering about. So that individual will get that tour. But you know what? I want to know, does he like diesel or steam, freight or passenger? So it's a lot about the subscriber as well. So that'll be coming up as well. Now, locomotive shopping. Somebody said, let's go locomotive shopping. I think what they meant was as a field trip. Let's go look at locomotives. I'll tell you what, I think that's a good idea. But let me tell you what I'm willing to go look at is in the GE category, General Electric, industrial switcher, and what would be ideal would be a 50-tonner. The 45-ton was very, very, very common. The 50-tonner just has a thicker deck plate, so don't let the 50-ton throw you off too much. Cab in the center, 2 Cummins engines, it's 4-axle. You find one of those, it's reasonable, I'll go look at it with the idea of possibly buying it to bring here. And that would make an exciting field trip and an exciting plan. I also would like a 25-ton, but by now they're small. The cars have gotten much heavier. 25-ton won't do a lot of work, but it would be usable. Now, one of you mentioned the 80-tonner that's in northern Ohio. You know, I looked at that the last time it was for sale. If anybody out there is interested in it, it's like through the middle of January. It's a bid. Nobody's bid on it yet. Nobody bid on it last time either. 80 ton, nice looking unit, but there are problems with that locomotive. Slightly technical, but I'll go into it. I'll use these rails as an example. The traction motors on this thing sit parallel with the rail. So if the locomotive took up this area, the 4 traction motors sit lengthways with the rail. That means to get the power from the traction motor to the axle, you've got to make a 90-degree turn. You've got to take the power and relay it 90 degrees. To do that, they used a ring and pinion. It's hypoid, meaning it's a helical gear, but that's the weak point on that locomotive. If they're not set up properly, it tears them up. A couple times in the last 2 or 3 years, you could not get those. You could have a beautiful 80-tonner. There was a paperweight because you couldn't get those gears. I understand they're available again. Somebody's making them aftermarket, but they're $10,000 a set. I could hold the pinion here and the ring here, fairly heavy, but 10 grand just for those 2 parts. So that's why that locomotive, which has 4 of those, if they were all bad, you'd have an additional 40 grand. And I really don't think you could truck that locomotive across the street from where it's at for less than $25,000. Just picking it up to put it on a truck, disassembling it, dropping the trucks off the bottom of the locomotive. So that's locomotives we'll go look at right now. 25, 45, 50-ton GEs. Love to take you along with us. Tell me in the notes if you found any. Okay, our next stop this morning, we're going to a used car lot. Then we're going to the rail yard. We're going to take out some trees, paint some marks, get ready for tomorrow when we're going to cut the new channel. We are having a great day here at Slippery Graham's Auto Sales. We've got 3 vehicles we want to show you, starting with this 2010 Nissan Xterra. Now the title says 2001, but that's one of 2 problems with this vehicle. It is not a 2001, this is a 2010. And the other problem is the odometer says 241,000 miles. It's actually only 41,000 miles. This 2010 Xterra with 41,000 miles can be had for $2,400. Zoom in on this price. I want the fine people to see the price on this automobile. Next up, over here, we have a Ford F-350. Now this truck might look like it spent over 20 years in a city like Chicago where they use a lot of salt. That's not true. This rust damage is from hauling salty snacks to the crew and cast of the movie Fast and Furious. That's right, this truck was used in the filming of the Fast and Furious. You know, when I lie, it hurts right here. Stay in school, don't do drugs, and don't lie. Well, many of you asked about these cars that we bought, and we did want to take a minute and show them to you. This is the Xterra. This is a 2001. It does have 241,000 miles on it. Paid $400 for it. A little bit of rust on the bumper. I think I'm going to paint this black. I'm going to tape and paper off this, paint this black, probably get new headlights. Let's look at the wheels. Tires are good, but the rims are rusted. So we're going to have to do something with that. Okay, now on to Graham's truck. We don't call this truck a mistake. No, we don't call it an accident. We call it a mistake. No. We really didn't mean to.
You had it the other way first time.
Did I have it right?
Yeah.
So this truck, let's stay with the little side view here. We like the wheels, the wheel covers. Good looking truck. It only does have 110,000 miles on it. It's got the 5.4, which is not one of our favorite engines, but does have a nice bed. Interior's pretty good. So that is the truck that we brought back from Chicago. We've replaced the caliper. That solved that problem. Thank you all for your input on that. Okay, now next up, the Ford 550. This truck we also got at Ritchie Brothers. It's a 2007 four-wheel drive 550 with a 5-speed manual transmission. We paid $3,500 for that and $3,500 for this. Which one was the better deal? That was. Now, it had a 6.0. That's the Ford diesel that had head problems, head bolt problems. It had problems when we bought it, and that's why it went for $3,500. These guys that buy these trucks, the white pickup trucks, 1-ton F550s, they know what they're doing. If one goes for less than you thought it should have gone for, they know to stay away from it, whereas we didn't know. So we drove it quite a few miles. We were in northern Illinois, hydrolocked it. The engine was ruined as far as driving it back home. We had to bring it home on a lowboy. But come and look what we did to it after that. Yes, that is a Cummins 5.0. That is some people's 5.9, correction, 5.9. That is some people's dream diesel engine. And we built the engine mounts, the alternator mounts, the air conditioner mounts. We did the exhaust. We had to do some modifications on the exhaust manifold, stock radiator, stock intercooler lines. We did not spend a lot of money doing this amazing conversion. This engine is quite a nice engine. Starts immediately, no matter how cold it is. We did have some oil leaks that we had to deal with, but that's the fleet. We knew you guys wanted to see the 2 trucks and the $400 car. We do have other vehicles, but these were the ones that people had asked about. Well, good morning. We're off to a great start here at the East Terminal Railway. It's Saturday. I believe it's the 9th. It started out pretty cold, but it's warming up nice, and you can tell there's a lot of sunshine. Thank you all for coming in on Saturday, those of you that made it. Maybe your wife's off at work, or maybe you wear the pants at your house. And wait, my phone's going off. Just lost 142 female subscribers. Please, girls, don't leave. It was a joke about the guys, not the girls. Please stay with us. So what we're going to do today is a continuation of yesterday. We were here yesterday afternoon. We painted where we're going to try and dig today. We cut out the trees. We're going to go over and look at that. We do have a couple exciting things to share with you today as well. And we're going to try something new. We had a subscriber ask for a little less talk and a lot more action. That's a country song. In fact, it's a good one. It might be country and Western. So we're going to do some filming while we work. Maybe we'll be able to speed it up. We're not going to talk during the work. What we're going to be doing is unloading the cat excavator and our new addition here on the railroad, which we're going to show you. Well, we are heading back to do the ditching this morning. It's a beautiful morning, Saturday morning. Glad to be here. Happy to be on the railroad. Just happy. Happy. A lot of work to do. This is that section where the trees were so thick. Got her cleared out. We got the cat on the back, taking it back to do the ditching. Got some exciting news about ditching coming up. Look at that, we got to clear all this brush further back. Little by little, increments of improvement. Well, we are really excited to announce today our first piece of rolling stock here on the East Terminal Railway. And it's maybe not what you expected, but this East Terminal Railway private car 0001 is a rail cart that we bought at an auction. It was an auction at the old Atlas Railroad construction site near Charleroi, but I think that Genesee and Wyoming had taken it over. Anyway, if you got a ginger ale handy, pop the top, celebrate with us. Oh yeah, a bit of the bubbly. Here we are, the East Terminal Railway, first piece of rolling stock. Thank you, subscribers. We're just so happy you're along with us on the journey. Don't drink a lot of that or I can't let you work. I have to send you home. Ooh. Okay, before we start our segment that we're going to call A Little Less Talk and a Lot More Action, if you knew who sang that, put it in the comments. I love the song, but I can't remember right now. Before we do that, I wanted to review the board. This is what we looked at yesterday. Right here is where the grapple truck is parked right now. We call this the 700 track. This is the J lead. Here is what we call the water level route. Look at this mess. Now all this brush is going to be cleaned up, but the reason that this water is right here, which on our map, right here's the water level route. There's water coming off a different piece of property through here and down. Now this is the Welland Canal. Graham and I dug that to see if water would go north, and it does. When given a chance, this water coming on the property will turn and go north through that culvert and out. So the goal for today, and we started this yesterday, we came in and cut down trees. They're piled here. We are going to try and dig a new path for this. So we're going to unload the excavator here, crawl into here, and start digging this out. Once that's done, hopefully we will be building a dam right here out of boulders. Can you guess what we're going to call that? Yeah, it's corny. And then this water, hopefully I should be doing this with blue, but it'll come on and go north and not flood back up into here. So that's our goal. We're going to start the video and do that. Now let me take you up in here and show you exactly where we're going to be working. This is the Welland Canal, which is filled in again, but it's still flowing. Look at that right there. I mean, that water wants to go north. Thank you, Lord. That water wants to go north, because if it wouldn't have, this whole thing wouldn't have worked. We would have made it wider, but we ran into that railroad tie and we couldn't pull it out with the cat. So we're going to throw a piece of green pipe here. We're going to put that scrap plywood on top of it and see if we can crawl into here. These orange lines on the ground are where we're going to try and dig. Boulder Dam will be right over here. Hopefully we're going to divert that water coming there, that direction. You'll see us probably in the video. We got to get that tie out of there, that piece of scrap metal. All of this has got to be cleaned up. Once again, this isn't normally the kind of work we do, so we're gonna learn here as we do this. So I think you see what the job is now that we've briefed up on it. Let's get busy, get this done.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is Graham has dug this nice, this is the diversion ditch. He's going to take out that end. The water's going to flow in, but that'll be okay because then we're going to turn and take out that end. I'll take you over there when we're going to cut that. He's ready to do this. Let's stand by. He's really a pretty good operator. I try and tell him I'm better than him, but I'm not. Oh yeah, that was a good one. That's coming this way. Look at that, a double scoop. Double scoop of chocolate fudge. Ooh. Waiter dropped it right on the table. Here it comes. This is the one that's going to let it out. Let it go, let it go. He says, here it goes. There's a root right there. Put it down on that side of the hill. Put it down on that side of the hill. Okay, this is with the digging done. This is Boulder Dam. This is going to stop the water from flowing that way because the path around to the north was too long. This now we've got water diverted and coming up through here. This is going to, now this will need widened and it'll need stone in it. It'll need dressed up, but this is more than I really had hoped we'd get done today. Okay, we had a great day on the railroad today. We got a lot done. Had a couple setbacks. We had to add hydraulic oil to the truck, the grapple truck. That takes longer than it should, but we did get a couple good hits in and got the trench dug. I wanted to tell you two things, one from the heart and then one thing that I think is kind of funny. Today I had that feeling you get when your children can do things you can't do. And watching Graham, I was really proud of him. He does a great job. He's got a good touch with equipment. I don't think I could have dug that near as well or near as quick. So I had that feeling of pride. The other thing's kind of funny is we're knocking off just a little bit early because my wife called and told me what I was going to do tonight. So after bugging you guys about who wears the pants at your house, I got told what I'm going to do tonight. She said, we're going to see the new Tom Hanks movie. So I'm all right with that. Ain't no woman like the one I got. To make her happy doesn't take a lot. So, content-filled episode this time. If you like what we're doing, you like to follow the journey, you like working with us, thanks for coming in on a Saturday. Like and subscribe.